The Iowa straw poll. It started in 1729. There was nobody who was an American at that point. And they would all go to Iowa, which didn't exist yet, and they'd have a big bucket of straw. And they would sit in a circle, and then the man who would be king would pull at the straw in the bucket. And the pole was a giant pole that everyone carried from Virginia all the way to Iowa, and everyone would hang on the pole. And if you fell off, you couldn't participate. I'm going on 2 weeks without my therapist. I'm Anthony Atamanuik, and this is Debate Porridge.
There are no losers in the campaign. There's only winners. And the real winners are the people in the state of Iowa. Number 5, number 3, and number 2, and number 1, Mitt Romney, 4,516 votes. Wow.
Okay, here's the real explanation. The Ames straw poll, brought to you by Ames Superstores, although I've been told that they're not that super. The Ames straw poll started in 1979, only occurs when there is not a Republican incumbent, such as 1979, when Ronald Reagan and George Bush ran against each other. And actually, George Bush won the straw poll. But there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the straw poll because in times past prior to 1999, the campaigns would, in classic Republican fashion, fly people from all around the country, and my guess is the world, to Iowa, where they would pay money to draw straws out of a hat in a room where people were huddled in different parts of the room and the candidates are moving around. I think there's also some sort of mythic sex rite that occurs, but they don't write about that.
I want to strengthen marriage, keep our taxes down, keep government small, and keep America always the hope of the earth. Change begins in Iowa, and change begins today. Thank you so very much.
We know that Mitt Romney won the straw poll, which is good because his positronic brain would overload if it didn't. Giuliani and McCain placed very low on the list. And then, of course, there was Tommy Thompson, who, as I have already mentioned, melted into a pile of flesh and hair, so he unfortunately had to withdraw from the straw poll. He didn't so much withdraw as he slithered away. The Iowa poll, straw poll, Iowa caucus, the whole nine is like so important. It's the first thing that happens. And it's always the same, actually, in the lead-up, which is it's so important, then you get it, and then the commentary is, well, it's just the Iowa straw poll, just the caucus, and then the next thing is important, and then it's New Hampshire, and then South Carolina. So it's all a load of garbage to get us teased up. But, you know, what's fascinating to me this year was that they had people register to vote, but they also had them mark their finger with ink. And what other country had their people mark their finger with ink for their first ever democratic election? Well, that'd be the Iraqis. Yes, the Iraqi government. So we are actually behind the Iraqi government in democratic processes. So my final thoughts on the Iowa straw poll. I really don't understand what it is. It just seems like a weird high school class election that happens before the real one. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and Captain Kirk was born in Iowa. And Mitt Romney sounds like Mitt Romulan. So that's really what I have to conclude. And that, you know, long live Kodos the Destroyer. Now here's what the Iowa straw poll really is. In 25,000 BC, a group of alien human hybrids buried themselves underneath the Arctic ice cap. The only way that they could decide on who would be the first person buried was...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are the results of the 2007 elections. Straw poll. Sorry.